This is Operations Officer Windfall. I work for the CIA in Seattle, Washington, under non-official cover. This is my claim. This is absolute truth. I worked for the CIA since October 5th of 2009 when I was hired. Okay, I've been working very diligently for the CIA. I worked under more than one director. Ultimately, I worked for the President of the United States, President Barack Obama. I have a confidential informant that released certain information to me that they felt was important for the national welfare of this nation. I will not reveal the location or the name, if I knew the name or the location of this individual, this confidential informant. This confidential informant said that the wife of a person of interest whose first name could be considered the letter C and whose last name could be considered the letter R, was involved in an assassination plot in 1969 in the country of England, that is, more specifically the country of Wales, and that this person who participated in this assassination plot did so for personal and political benefit and continues to benefit from that action, i.e., an assassination of an individual, an innocent individual, a non-combatant in the war that we all wage. And this confidential informant told me specifically that on the television they had seen evidence that this individual who continues to benefit from the work that they committed in 1969 was still active and still benefiting from their action. And moreover, this individual on the national stage, whose first initial is the letter C and whose last initial is the letter R, found their way into a position that might lead to their participation at the highest levels of the American government, and they thought that this was incorrect and improbable and actually wrong. Now, this person, who I believe is impeccable in their honesty because of their very nature, said that they may find themselves locked up and permanently silenced if they reveal this information directly, but they found that I was a useful conduit because of my occupation as an operations officer with the Central Intelligence Agency, that I could be told this information surreptitiously, and therefore the information could be gotten, received, transmitted to the rightful parties so they might take corrective action, and therefore this person whose first initial is the letter C as in Charlie, and whose last initial is the letter R as in Romeo, whose action occurred in the year 1969, and the place of their action was the country of Wales, could be dealt with in a way that did not cause a national scandal. But they felt it was important enough to relay it to me at the risk of their own safety. And I release this to you, whoever you are, out there in cyberspace, for the same reason that they felt that this information had to be conveyed effectively to lawful authorities in the United States and also in Europe, i.e. Interpol, so that they may find that this crime could be dealt with in such a way as to not create a national uproar, but yet at the same time make it clear that the parties who are involved, i.e. the perpetrator, could be dealt with and dissuaded from seeking what they should not seek, i.e. positions of authority in the global government that we all participate in. So therefore, today, which is of course June 7th, 2012, and the time is approximately 8:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and I am in Seattle, Washington, as I always am, because oddly enough, the Central Intelligence Agency allows people who are under non-official cover, that is, operations officer who have no official cover, can actually work within the United States without restriction. You know why? Because we don't exist. We really don't exist. We do exist, but yet we don't exist. But my friends in the Central Intelligence Agency, including my boss, David Petraeus, and of course my ultimate boss, President Barack Obama, know that I am in Seattle, and they know that I'm working diligently to protect the interests of the United States, and also all due diligence to the protection of all good citizens within the confines of our nation, and more importantly, the national leadership, i.e. the President himself, believe that I'm doing a good job, and they believe that therefore I'm worthwhile to keep on the leash. Now you say, why are you on the leash? The reason that I'm on the leash, the reason that I am here, is because the Lord God himself has decreed that I will, in fact, become the person that allows the facilitation of the salvation of this nation and the world itself. And why is that? Is because my people that exist not within the confines of this time frame, but exist in another dimension, another time, have indicated to me that my job, my ultimate occupation, besides working for the Central Intelligence Agency, is to be cognizant that the timeline must persist in a certain fashion. There must be certain events that occur and certain events that don't occur. Do's and don'ts and do-si-don'ts, that is to say. And so, in the final analysis, I work for A, my case officer, Ed. B, I work for the Director of the Central Intelligence, and currently General David Petraeus. C, I work for the President of the United States, President Barack Obama. And D, I work for my boss, who is, of course, of my tribe. And my tribe is, of course, the Blue Wolf tribe. And the Blue Wolf tribe is, of course, a tribe of species not of this planet, i.e., they are of another time. They actually exist outside of time, and their proper names are Time Lords, and therefore I, myself, am a Time Lord. That is, I am an alien. That is, I'm not of this planet. So you should be aware that I have four bosses currently. But of course, ultimately, according to my people, ultimately, I have 5 bosses. My 5th boss, the 5th wheel, is of course myself, because I am autonomous. I am my own boss. And the reason I am my own boss is because I am this strangely bizarre mythic creature. And this strangely bizarre mythic creature, in terms of earthly history, is Satan, or if you prefer, the 7th angel. So therefore, I have 5 bosses, and the ultimate boss is, of course, me. I am my own boss, ultimately. Though I do, of course, curtsy, that is, bow to the other 4 bosses. And therefore, I take my responsibility very seriously. The thing about June 7th, 2012, is that it has been revealed to me by sources that are very reliable and very profoundly informative that the Arabs have decided that they have the weapon that they have long sought for, that is, a 1 megaton nuclear weapon that they will use against the state of Israel tomorrow, which is, of course, June 8th, 2012. And how they will employ this is basically they will take their forces, they will take many, many men, and they will rush toward the border of Israel in an apparent attempt to breach the border. And then they will suddenly, inexplicably, without explanation, retreat, move back, run away, as if the Israelis have scared them into retreat. But in fact, what they are doing is getting themselves away from the detonation of the nuclear weapon, which is approximately, according to my information, measured at 1 megaton, or 1,000 kilotons. And when that 1,000 kiloton weapon is detonated near the border of the Israeli state, all hell will break loose. The Israelis will see that they're under attack. They will launch their own nuclear weapons against Syria and probably Iran. And when they do so, they will be themselves put under attack from, various sources. And this will be the beginning of Armageddon. The Americans will, of course, see that this is a problem that they must deal with immediately. They will send in the 82nd Airborne, which is their quick response group. Their group will go into the area. They will be attacked by a similar phenomena, i.e. a nuclear weapon, which the Arabs have held in reserve. This will result in massive American casualties. I mean, on the order of 50,000 men and women. And this will cause the United States to go to war against Syria, Iran, and possibly North Korea. Then, of course, the final leg of the journey toward Armageddon will be the fact that China will enter the fray, and the Russian state will enter the fray, and it will in fact be a free-for-all. Everyone will be looking for a piece of the action, and of course the piece of the action is, of course, the oil that lies within Saudi Arabia, and of course Iraq. And when that occurs, my friend, there'll be no turning back, because weapons will be launched, planes will be bombing targets, submarines will be launching, food will be in extremely short supply, people will be bunkered down, the weather will change. There'll be no end. And probably most importantly, the Israeli state will be so devastated that the only people that will have survived the initial attack by the Arabs will be people deep in bunkers. And those people, when they come out, must find a way to survive. And the reason that is because my people, which of course are the Blue Wolf tribe, I say that, Blue Wolf tribe, which are of course the Time Lords, which are of course the people charged with the protection of the timeline, see that the continued existence of the Israeli state and the remnant of Jews in Israel is so essential to the timeline that should that not exist, should the Israelis not survive, the timeline will be so severely mangled that there'll be no way to redeem it. And then at that point, my people will take the most appropriate action for them, which is the utter and complete destruction of this sector of space through a mechanism that they have at their disposal. But they do not wish to do that because, of course, they value life more than anything. So, in the final analysis, tomorrow, June 8th, that is 6/8/2012, the United States and their covert operations teams and the Director of Central Intelligence and any and all good people, including Mossad, UK Secret Service, and anybody else that might be willing to help, including the French, must find a way to dissuade the goddamn motherfucking Arabs in their fucking goddamn plan to destroy the Israeli state. That is what we must do. If we can do that, then we survive a little bit longer. And if we survive a little bit longer, the ultimate final objective is, of course, the re-election of the president, which is the President Barack Hussein Obama in 2012. And when he resumes the presidency in 2013, things might, just slightly, possibly continue to the point where there is no Armageddon. But if that does not occur, if all hell breaks loose tomorrow on 6/8/2012, then of course the president will not be reelected. Mitt Romney will be elected, and then history will be changed unavoidably. And then my people will take the ultimate and final solution, which is the utter destruction of this sector of space to avoid the contagion that might occur should this sector not be destroyed. I have asked my people if this could be avoided. They said no, it cannot be avoided should the timeline not continue as it should. So they're willing, they're perfectly willing, and they're perfectly able, and they're perfectly capable of destroying this entire sector of space that is a great amount of space, anywhere and around the solar system, Sol, including most of the Milky Way galaxy, should the timeline become unavoidably altered. So I say this with full and total candor. We must not allow the criminal whose first name begins with a C, whose last name begins with an R, to reach the level of sukur, that is, satisfaction, so that the Arabs will feel perfectly willing to use their weapon against the Israelis. And if that scenario does not occur, that is, the criminal who committed the crime in 1969, that is a murder of an innocent person in 1969 in the state of Wales, does not feel authorized or accepted in their state of perdition to continue in their activities, then the Arabs will not feel comfortable in proceeding in their effort to destroy the state of Israel, and they will not use their weapon. But a lot of it hinges on the United States covert action teams and also allied teams. And we're talking about the United States Rangers, we're talking about the Green Berets, we're talking about the Delta Force, we're talking about the UK special 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 Air Service. We're talking about the UK Special Boat Service. We're talking about Mossad. We're talking about the UK's Secret Service. We're talking about UK's Secret Service. We're talking about the Germans' own Secret Service. We're talking about the Russians, Russian Federation Secret Service. We're talking about even the Chinese Secret Service. All these covert agencies must be employed, including, I think I would include the Australians and the Canadians, to prevent the licensing of the Arabs to begin to cause the destruction of Israel with their available nuclear weapon, which has been reported to me by a covert source as being measured at 1,000 kiloton yield. And they have a backup weapon of approximately 2 kiloton yield. And if they're prevented from employing that against Israel, and if of course they're dissuaded because of the thumb being put on, or the finger being put on the individual who is the criminal, i.e., whose first initial is C, whose last initial is R, then of course history will resume its natural course, and then we will not see Armageddon. If that does not occur, we will see Armageddon, and I will not have electricity. I probably will not have eyesight. I will certainly not have food. I will not have heat. I will not have shelter, and neither will you. So be apprised. And God bless you. God bless you. I shouldn't say that. God has said to me 3 things. God said, don't call me God, call me Lord. So, Lord. And then the Lord said, stop cussing. And I said, I'm trying to stop cussing. And then the Lord said, stop lying. And I said, I'm trying to stop lying. And then, of course, the last thing, and probably the most important thing, the Lord said, stop drinking. And I said, I'm working on that too. So, that's it. I'm trying. I cry sometimes. The very nature of humanity. Because humanity is vastly, humanity is disappearing rapidly. There are very few humans left. There are very few people left. Humans have almost become extinct. When they become extinct, the earth will have no reason to exist. The earth is made for humanity. That is the purpose of the earth. The earth existence relies on humanity. When humanity is no longer there, the earth has no purpose for being. And at that point, the earth will probably decide not to be. That is all. This is the operations officer for the Central Intelligence Agency, codename Windfall. Today's date is June 7th, 2012. The time is approximately, we'll say 10 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And I, my friend, am well, not happy. I could be happy, but I'm not really happy. I'll be happy tomorrow if things don't go south. But I will try. I will try. And I will talk to my friends. I know my friends. I know my informants. I know my sources. And when I talk to them, I'll get a better snapshot of what must be and what might not be. What may not be. And you, my friend, you are aware. And since you're aware, you are responsible. Remember that. If you're aware, you are responsible.